Well, with all good things. So, the original Star Trek series came to an end with the episode Turnabout, Intruder. It's not without some controversy for some, but I think it's a bit overblown. Obviously, there's a problem of continuity somewhat, but I think that's about it. So the basic plot here is that yet another old girlfriend of Captain Kirk's we meet here. She's a scientist and was involved in exploring an old abandoned civilization on an alien world, and then her whole crew gets killed, and it's because she had them killed. And all of this is just to lure Captain Kirk to the planet. So because she found this ancient alien device to where you can swap your minds between two bodies. So she is intent on stealing Captain Kirk's body and switching places with him. So he's in her body and she's in his and all that. And all of this is born out of her broken heart and jealousy of him at the same time. And the continuity element of it is that she mentions, I wasn't going to be allowed in your world of Starship Captain as a woman. Now, to take it from that, and says it's not fair, and Kirk says, no, it isn't fair. But it's the idea that Starfleet didn't allow women to be captains. Obviously, it's a problem going forward with later Star Trek, but also you can go all the way back to the Cage, where number one, second in command, and when Captain Pike is, missing in action, guess who's in charge? So it doesn't quite fit. The only way to argue it is that this had more to do with her psychosis than the reality of it, because she's clearly insane. She's got severe disorders and all of this. And so a lot of the feminist argument, if you can call it that, is that this is a misogynist episode. It depicts women as being insane and all this stuff. It depicts one woman being insane, which she clearly is. She's quite the villain of this story. And in today's world, what it poses as feminism today is primarily misandry with misogyny sprinkled throughout, in that femininity is despised and all this sort of thing. And when you look at a story like this with the case of Janice Lester, Kirk even says it while he's in the woman's body, and says she's crippled, her psyche's crippled by her own hatred of womanhood. It's a lot of this criticism of it, that this is a misogynist episode, is that, boy, it's striking too close to home for some and seeing themselves in it. And that's the nature of the character. They don't depict other women that way. It's just that, it's just like any male villain, am I supposed to assume that, because Khan's a villain, that they're all men are like, no. So it doesn't hold water really, but it's glommed on to the idea that she couldn't be a starship captain because they didn't allow women to be starship captains, and it's mentioned here, but not flat out and completely. And so I just chalk it up to she couldn't be a starship captain because she was psychotic, And the ending after they are able to switch back and all that, because apparently you have to maintain the hold between the two, and she couldn't do it, and eventually they go back into their own bodies. The other scientist that she's with, who's in love with her, says, I want to take care of her, and they say, yeah, all right. And it's like, no. she's got to go to prison. Both of them do. There's a lot of people who were killed on that planet. So, So So there it is. Once if anything, Kirk's quite the love him and leave him type guy. So there's that, And then here was a woman who it really broke her that he did that she couldn't handle it. But he's he said we would have killed each other because it's like, good Lord, she's nuts. I can't deal with this. And I guess that was the deal. He had some sympathies for her, but, well, you can't do what you're doing. But anyway, it's so that, there's that. It's quite funny watching Shatner play crazy and all that stuff, and he's starting to lose it, and he can't handle it, And the scene where there's almost a switch where Kirk Lester is in the brig with the others, and Janice Kirk is on the bridge, where they almost switch back and forth. Is a classic shot of Shatner sitting there with this shocked look on his face, and hands up and everything. It's pretty hilarious. But I always found it really funny is that after it's over with and Janice maintains her hold over Kirk's body, he's like, it's all this embarrassing, like, what just happened here, and Chekhov and Sulu are looking at him like, what the hell just happened? Because at this point they don't know what's going on for sure. They don't know if they really believe the story, but they do know that something's deeply wrong with Captain Kirk, and so they've decided not to obey his orders and all that. But then there's the scene that Kirk runs back to the other the scientist that was a co-conspirator with Janice. I'm forgetting his name, and like tries to put the moves on him. And it's like, he's like, I'd rather you stay in your old body. But she knows that that he's in love with her, so she manipulates him to do, because she can't bring herself to kill Kirk, and it's because she's still in love with Kirk. She keeps, I need you to kill him. I don't want to deal with it. She can't do it. So there's that. So all in all, it's not that bad of an episode. It's just used for political reasons, and that's about it as far as that goes. And that's how Star Trek ended, with the new effects added, and the new versions of the episodes. The Enterprise goes off into a glowing nebula, like it's riding off into the sunset, kind of like the ending to Undiscovered Country. And of course, because that's it. That was the last episode broadcast. Then it went off into syndication, and that's when it really became very popular and was beating out new shows, and then, of course, the rest is history, what it led to. But it's just, and I've been kind of dreading getting to this point because, I'm 51 years old now, and there's not a lot of time on one's hands to watch what they want to watch and stuff. And I'm watching a bunch of other stuff, and I've got a big list of stuff I got to check out and get into. So it's like, how much time do I have to watch Star Trek again? And this was it. I'm sure I'll watch it again here and there, but to just go all the way through, that's why it's kind of like, that's it. That's all they had. Maybe the previous episode would have been a better one to end on. I don't know, but they didn't know for sure at the time, and they decided it just wasn't getting enough views. Little did they know, So that was it for Star Trek. But Star Trek maintains a huge place despite what's happened in recent times. And its influence is pervasive, you can see it in all aspects of science fiction and popular culture. And Star Trek remains one of the shows that's closer to the ideals of science fiction. The series explores ideas and that sort of thing, and in the keeping with science fiction tends to be more about the future and where technology could go, and what's possible beyond our little planet and stuff like that. And so alongside Twilight Zone, Star Trek is right there at the top of stories and adventures that explored those ideas. There's adventure in it, and it's like comparisons to westerns and whatnot, and that's certainly there. But the science fiction ideas and concepts were very strong, and at the very least, they tried. Yeah, and that's lacking in current era. Not everywhere. There's some good stuff out there, but you got to look for it. But Star Trek maintains its position because of where it came from, and you can't take that away. So up next will be the animated series before we get to the films, and we'll go from there. But the Star Trek, of course, had a very powerful influence over me. I didn't exist when it was live, but in the 70s, watching the reruns, and it didn't have a clue that this was some old show. After a while, I was like, "What do you mean?" It's like, no, it's already been canceled. But that was true of a lot of shows like Gilligan's Island and Bewitched and stuff like that. I would watch, but Star Trek was very much at the top of the list, and as far as I'm concerned, we'll stay there forever. Thanks for watching and listening. Say, while you're still here, why not like and subscribe and share with your many friends? Yes. Also, check out my mini stores in the link description below. Yes, where you can get t-shirts, hats, mugs, all those goodies with my artwork on them. Oh, yeah. And head over to indieplanet.com and pick up a copy of my comic book, Night Night. Oh, yeah. You can also catch me at my podcast, Mr Nailsin Show, on RadioMisfits.com. And you can also watch my videos on BitChute.com and now on Rumble.com. Oh, my goodness. So many places to watch me and my stuff. Oh, yeah. And if that's not enough for you, well, you can follow me on many social media platforms and say hi to your old pal, Mr. Nailsin.